Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Churchill Capital. We've seen a massive run on this SPAC, and today we're at that $30 level. The real question is, where's this news coming from? Where's the hype, and why is the stock moving so strong? Typically, this is what happens before the official announcement of a merger. So we're gonna get right into that, and I'm gonna give you my overall thoughts on where I see the stock going, and is it really worth the buy right now? Before we get into that content, I need you to do one thing and one thing only. Hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and make sure you have the notifications turned on because I'm posting videos every single day about the stocks that I'm trading, the long-term picks, and as well as the stocks you guys are recommending down below. This was a heavily recommended stock. I got in my DMs on Discord, so here we are. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. If you watched any of the last videos going over Churchill and Lucid has a lot of momentum behind them. The only thing holding me back from really being behind this company is the fact that the merger has not been announced. And the only thing that has been announced is that this is overall just a rumor. There's still a lot of speculation with Churchill. There's a lot of stuff going on Twitter and a lot of kind of hype and underlying messages being out there. I don't want to spend too much time on social media content. I want to focus on the actual facts and articles, and as well as the chart and where we're going, because we're seeing some very bullish movement. The ultimate question we're asking right now, is Churchill worth the risk? This leads me back to my opinion on the stock. If there's a 50% possibility of Churchill Cap merging with Lucid Motors and doing a reverse merger, it's worth the risk because this could potentially be something like Tesla down the road. They're going to be the main competitors here in America. I mentioned this in the last video. Lucid already has production and first order delivery coming in March, so that's very big news as well. But I want to spend a little bit of time looking over a few articles, and then we're going to go to the charts. The charts will be near the end of the video, so you can skip ahead to that if you want, if that's your thing. If not, we need to cover a few basic points, and I'm going to give you my thesis behind this stock. So there's a few really interesting things that we should be looking at. One was we're going to look at the volume on the stock today. As you see, we're actually at a lower kind of median level. So that's a good note to know if you're on the bullish side of things. The fact that the volume staying relatively the same around that 40 million range, but we're still getting really big upside. That's very good to notice. You see on the 25th, we had 100 mil. And then from there, we had even larger levels around the 15th. Those were really big ranges. But now we're kind of averaging out and sticking true to that 40 million range. If we can start getting a really big push up on that volume, you can expect an even bigger move. And the stock, like I said, is sitting at that $30 marker. But let's take a look at these articles. So the first thing you know is when we're looking at these articles, we're actually just looking at Lucid as a company. Because what you're doing is you're betting that CCIV is going to be doing that reverse merger with Lucid. If you're betting on CCIV, that's ultimately the bet that's underlying here, because there is no done deal. I've been trying to say that. They do have the Saudi investors with them, Lucid does. So that's one thing you have to take into account, and kind of the risk to reward here is that you're betting on a long-term aspect. If you're here for the short term, you're really gambling. That's the one thing you need to be knowing. But as a long-term investment, if the deal does go through, you're looking at a $100 to $200 stock in a matter of a year, year and a half. I like to go over the summary first and then break it down even further. This is what has me the most excited about the company of Lucid and what they're doing. With a clear focus on maximizing efficiency, Lucid Motors has developed the most efficient production of EV and will use their platform of vehicles to come. So efficiency, as we've seen with Tesla, has become a major necessity in this space. Tesla hasn't always been the most efficient, and Lucid's bringing people from Tesla's company to really make sure that process is very, very efficient, especially coming to the new factories being built here in Arizona and then the other factories being built abroad. So that's going to be a major role in the company. Can they keep the efficiency coming to really get those delivery dates minimized as much as possible? So we're going to look at this next part, breaking down on that further. Lucid's production plant currently has an annual capacity of just 30,000 vehicles, all for the Air. Though the company plans to expand a total capacity of 400,000, this implies that Lucid's going to be introducing quite a few new models, not just the Project Gravity. So this Air is the one they actually have those releases coming for right now. This is the one that will be releasing very, very soon. That's worth noting as well. And 30,000 vehicles is still quite a bit. If we look at something like Tesla, that's still a lot of competition for Tesla and a lot of vehicles in comparison. Still doing very, very good for itself. It is considered an even higher tier of a car. So as we look, Rawlinson has confirmed that Lucid aims to bring higher volume vehicles to the production that are more affordable and therefore more suitable for mass market. This is where the leap truly begins to demonstrate its full potential. The variable design allows Lucid to keep costs down on development as well as production. So like I said, being able to keep these costs down, keeping the scalability high is going to be a very big necessity for Lucid, because obviously Tesla is first to market, and typically first to market does the best, which I think Tesla will remain top dog. But I do think having a competition coming in there similar to Tesla, because the overall design is similar to Tesla, some might say it's better, some might say it's worse. That's kind of just basis on your choice and your bias. But overall, having a healthy competition in the market will be very suitable for this. And I think Lucid will be able to kind of pull people away from Tesla as well. Although I love Elon as a CEO, I think he probably beats out Lucid's CEO just in personality and innovation. Again, this is just bias. So there's tons of stuff we can talk about with Lucid, but I don't want to spend time going over the vehicles and what they have coming up, because that's essentially beyond the point right now. I want to look at the direct competition, where they're going to be making an impact in this space, and then ultimately what their weaknesses are as well. So this is the key weakness in my opinion. When it comes down to actually sourcing data and doing upgrades to the vehicle, they don't have the data that Tesla does. So let's start here. One of Tesla's greatest advantages in this field is that it can utilize billions of miles of real driving data in order to help train its system and make it even better. When training these systems, time is often the most important element to improve upon them, as the computer is trained by repetition. With time, the team also needs strong leadership, and again, Lucid has been able to acquire some of the best. Like I said in the beginning, Lucid is bringing in key members to facilitate this business, bringing in big names from Tesla as well to establish this growth and keep the scalability, keep the production going on the upside. So that's very, very promising. But the advantage Tesla does have, and will most likely have for the coming year or two, is the overall data it has based on its current models already out there, because it's always tracking that data, trying to improve it. This is why they can do updates on the fly so often. I'm about to get into the charts, but one thing I do want to clarify: why are we seeing this move right now? This is primarily because of Twitter and social media hype, and a lot of these SPACs are heavily affected from social media, so that is worth taking into account. So if you're a more long-term investor, these moves shouldn't really worry you, even if we're getting some downside, because most of this is coming from just social media. So if you're just basically doing any basic search on Twitter, you're going to be able to see some of this information. Now, I don't want to follow all of that because it's going to take too much of our time and kind of waste some of the time here as well. So I do want to spend more time on the chart. But there's a lot of speculation that the deal and merger is going to be coming out soon, but we can't really speak on that because none of that is actually factual. There's no hard evidence there, and I don't want to spend any time on something that we're just kind of guessing on. So we're going to start with a longer term chart. As you can see, back from January 5th, we've made a pretty parabolic run up from that $10 range straight up to the $31 marker. We had an initial push up to that $26, $27 range. I'm not going to lie, majority of my profits were taken out around $25. I didn't really see us pushing this high until we got a merger, or at least some sort of announcement, just based on valuation and the new money coming in. Based on the numbers, bringing in the SPAC deal with the new equity coming in, the price evaluation would have been around $30 to $35. We're already hitting those markers. So if the merger actually comes out, it's looking like we're going to get a push of more of the $40 to maybe even $50 range. That's, like I said, ultimately a guess. But what's going on is we're seeing massive amounts of retail investors pour into this stock. I mean, I understand the hype because it is Tesla's really only competition here in America, especially once March comes around the corner, once these developments are coming out. Now, we'll have more news once that happens and seeing how the car drives and, more reports regarding the quality of the car, which could either be very bullish or very bearish for the company. So on this channel, you're going to realize I really do not buy the pump at any point in time. So anytime we're seeing these parabolic movements, right, I'm not buying at these levels, right? I'm always looking to buy on these retracements. Never will you see me buying as we're pumping up. That's just not the way that I trade. That's not the way that I invest. So on this move up, I am not looking to buy. Even if we continue straight up to the $40 range, I will not buy because the risk reward is just so high. Heavily favored on the risk side, because at any point we could come down for that retracement. So what I'll be looking for is potentially some retest of this level right here, that $29 to $30 range. I still think that's a little bit high. So where I'm ultimately aiming for is this level right here, the $26.7 to $27 range. That's going to be a pretty heavy support and resistance. And if we actually take a step back and look at the OBV, and if you don't know what the OBV is basically the on-balance volume of people coming in. So in the beginning, I showed you the volume, the average volume coming in on the stock today and how much it was actually traded. But the on-balance volume can often vary from that number. So it's really important that we look at this as well. As you see, we're reaching all new highs, breaking that key level, which we saw was right here. Both of those being broken, which was very important to note. So as we break that level as well, you see us make a new high. High possibility we come down to the OBV a little bit and then scale back up. If that volume continues, we want to see some sort of a lagging behind the stock. And so what I mean by lagging is this. We would like to see a retracement on the stock and then some sideways movement potentially. And then we'd like to see the OBV come down and then start scaling back up. But we want this to start scaling up while this is lagging behind. If this is lagging behind the volume, typically this is a great time to start getting into the position and start dollar cost averaging in. Call options here are going to be pretty sketchy. Premium on these plays is definitely going through the roof, so waiting for some sort of dip is the most optimal play in my opinion, and that's what I'm doing personally. This is not financial advice. Do your own due diligence. This is just what I'm seeing on the chart. Just in conclusion, to summarize what I'm saying, I would like to see some downward pressure coming down to this range, maybe some sideways movement for maybe half a day, because Lucid Motors honestly is not staying very stable at all. It's dropping and coming straight back up. So this consolidation here, I don't project it to be very long at all. And then I want to see another move coming back up to that $35, $36 range, ultimately where I'd be targeting. But you want to see this OBV move prior to this move right here. So we want to see the OBV moving, and we want to see the price stagnating here. Because if it stagnates, typically that's a great time to get into it. That's what I'll be looking at here. I'm not forcing entries at these highs. So in conclusion, I'm not bearish on CCIV. I do want to see a little bit of downward pressure to get entries. I don't even think we come that far down. There's so much momentum and volume on this stock. If it's going to be anything, it's going to be a quick wick to the downside where we have to get in very quickly. And then I want to see that upward pressure to that $34, maybe $35 range. You have to be careful here taking your profits, not be greedy. That's just my opinion though. This is what I'm going to be doing. That's going to wrap up this video, guys. If you got something out of this, make sure you hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and have the notifications turned on because I post videos every single day regarding the stocks I'm trading. Have a good one, guys. Namaste.